Hello and welcome to the Gojenn videocast. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing great. Today is Sunday, May 15th, 2016. This is episode, drumroll please, 67 of the Gojenn videocast. And that's whether it is I've counted the weekly episodes, whether I had divided them into two, like I'm going to do this week, or whether they were all in one or whatever. So this is going to be the yarny section. What have I been doing yarn-wise? Let me tell you, my May Mojo, off the hook. I've been crafting all the things. I've crafted every day. Except Friday. Friday I came home from work and went to sleep. That's what happens. I get so tired at work that by the end of the week, this is collapse. So anyway, I hope you're sitting down and crafting or having a drink, whatever, because you're just not going to believe it. You would fall out otherwise. Maybe. So let me start with the simplest, and that is 3 sock yarn blanket squares. I'm going to hold this poster board up because it gives you a good background. Here's my nose. So this one, what I am doing is trying to use up some mini skeins I had in my stash. And the problem is mini skeins come usually in a 25-yard length. And that's great because that's about all that knitters need for a little mini sock yarn blanket square. No. Crochet takes up about 1.5 times as much yarn, generally speaking, rule of thumb. This is 2 different mini skeins. The first one, can you tell that this has got blue in it at the edge? The beginning one didn't have blue. So it takes right at 2 of these mini skeins. And then this blue one, I think I showed you this last time. Did I show you this last time? If not, here it is. This was some mystery yarn that I got gifted to me. And it is bigger than sock yarn. So you can tell, see, it's bigger. So anyway, I don't know what we'll do. We'll have to think about it, how I'll work that into my eventual sock yarn blanket. It's hard to say that without saying blanket square because all I have right now are tons of squares. I don't, well, I took a picture that I want to be the beginning of the show, the title screen, and that is these project bags sitting in my chair. And that's because besides my blanket squares, I haven't gotten a whole lot done besides these. So let me start with this first. This is, all of these are being made for the Harry Potter Knitting and Crochet House Cup. This bag my daughter made for me, and when she gifted it to me, I thought, okay, she doesn't crochet because she doesn't, but it's perfect because this is a 2 skein project. That first skein just stays in the bottom and gives weight to the bag. Who knew? She doesn't knit or crochet, but she knew some stuff over how to make a bag for me. Okay, this is the yarn I'm using. It is Tangier by Cascade Yarns. It is 47% silk, 19% acrylic, 17% rayon, and 17% cotton. I'm enjoying working with it. It feels more like cotton to work with. It's not splitty. It's not tangly, and it's beautiful. The colorway, perfect name for it, 3. You gotta love it. This is the, in the Harry Potter Knitting and Crochet House Cup, we have things like they did in Harry Potter world, which is the Headmistress Challenge. And this is the first clue finished already. Can you believe it? I can't. This is the first clue finished. It's going to be a cowl. It's a mystery cowl, crochet along. There's also clues for a mystery knit along. And so I'm doing the crochet along. I like it because it's done in the round, so there's none of that ugly, icky seaming. This is where the first clue ends, and so I'm going to leave that little stitch marker right there. And I'm very happy with that. And I finished it before the next clue doesn't come out until about the 28th of May. So isn't that great? I got that done. I can check it off my list, and you can see how beautiful this yarn is. So I am totally thrilled with it. And I get to use a great, it's worsted weight, so I'm using this great big fat eye hook. Because my other project is using sock yarns, and you don't get to use a great big fat hook for those because they are teeny tiny, and you have to use teeny tiny EFG hooks. They're just teeny tiny. I don't remember what's in which bag for the rest, but here we go. This is a bag from Tangerine Designs. I like it. I like the hook thing right here, and I just put a little stitch marker on it for prettiness. I like pretty things, and that's why I don't understand why more people aren't just jumping to get the stitchy markers I've made. I mean, I understand I'm relatively new since March, but I like pretty things. I like shiny things. Maybe I was supposed to be a crow in another life or something. But I like for my work to, I mean, just seeing that, it's just a little extra sparkle, and it makes me really happy. So I don't understand why people are not joining me. Okay, this is the Snapdragon by Ava Nee. It is Tunisian crochet. It is a pay-for pattern. I'm sorry, my dogs are jingling. Yeah, she stopped to look at me and then started back up again. Took me like 3 or 4 tries to get started because I was reading the instructions incorrectly. But once I got it done, I don't know how I'm going to finish this. I really don't, because it's taking me now, I don't know, not an hour a row, but maybe a good 30 minutes. And this is calling for, I forget how many rows. And you see rows, they have their own instructions to show the increases, and so that comes in, and that's when I start to doubt myself and say, how on earth am I ever going to get this done? This is the Malabrigo yarn. It is absolutely gorgeous. This is where I was last week when I showed it to you. Again, this is Tunisian crochet. Her way of working in Tunisian, and she always says Tunisian. She's so cute. But her way of working it is a little different. And of course, this is worked from here I am. This is my working edge, my working stitch. And the next row, I'm going to go back across this edge, increasing. So I think the first 25 or so rows are all increases of differing lengths. But you see it's coming along it's coming along well. I have spent time with this. I love working on it. I understand what she's doing in the pattern. And I think that helps when you're doing something that's a little bit out of your wheelhouse, out of the box for you. I'm not a Tunisian crochet person, and so it helps me to understand, okay, I get what she's doing. She's increasing here, here, and here, and the stitches in between are all the same. Easy peasy. You can do it. I am loving it. The yarn is gorgeous. So I'm going to move my little progress keeper. You see it there. I'm going to move it so that you'll be able to see how much I get done by next week, okay? You can hold me to it. There, and this is me pulling it straight flat. It's definitely going to have to block out, because if you can see the kind of the dimples in the rows, that's because this is the right side, this is the wrong side. Right side, wrong side. So this is the wrong side, and it's equally, if not a little bit more beautiful. Yay! Don't you love it when something that you're doing, you think you can do it, and then you actually do. So I've got this much more yarn in my first skein of Malabrigo. I think my halfway point on this project is going to be when this skein is gone. It's not moving too fast. It's not moving like crochet, because I love crochet. It eats yarn. Knitting, ugh, terrible, terrible. And it also makes knitting, it's a whole lot harder to wind your ends in. Okay, I wanted to make sure I put it in where it would feed from the top. So this is my owl project, my Snapdragon by Ava Nee. And I have project pages for all of these on my Ravelry profile. So if you go to Ravelry, I'm Gojenn, Gojenn. Please friend me if you haven't. And you can look at all my projects. So we will, please do that. So now this is my knitting project. See what I mean about knitting not taking up near as much room? And I've worked on this, I would say, an equal, if not greater amount than I have on the Snapdragon. This is the Trillion by Martina Behm, B-E-H-M. I finally got it going the right way with my lacy border on one side. I know, of course, that's what the pattern said, but I couldn't quite get it. This stitch marker, this right here, that's where I was last week. And it also serves to remind me that this is the knit side. This row starts with knits, this row starts, or this side, you know what I mean? Anyway, this is purl. This starts with pearls. 8 pearls. Ming Mao told me I could do this, that there were very few purl stitches, but there's pearls on every row. On every purl row. And there's knit 2 togethers and through the front and back loop. And so I have to really pay attention to this. Can you see this beautiful yarn? This is Marigold Gin. I bought this yarn at the Shenandoah Sheep and Fiber Festival last September with my daughter and grandson. And it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. So I will move my my little stitch marker, progress keeper. I'll move it up so that we can keep track of how much I've done. So far we're looking kind of like Florida. Yeah? Disney World, right there. Okay, so friends, aren't you impressed? I'm impressed. I'm really impressed with myself because I didn't I didn't just goof off and play Candy Crush. I would never do such a thing, of course, but I've heard that other people do. I've seen it on TV. But I usually goof off, and I don't want to, and I don't think that there's any way I can finish these projects if I don't give them daily love. Getting the sock yarn blanket squares done, that was something that I have to do for well, of course I don't have to do it for Harry Potter Knitting and Crochet House Cup, but those are classes that I get to turn in. So let's see, check my list. I do have those are done, and so most of my crafting time now can be directed to the 2 owl projects. The next clue doesn't come out on that cowl until the end of May, so I can just set that aside, hopefully not lose it, but just set it aside and I'll be good. And I do have, if you remember, I beaded some beads, or I strung some beads onto some yarn that I didn't like because it's too sticky, the yarn. Anyway, I was going to do my owl with it, and then I decided I hated it, so I couldn't do my owl with it. So what is going to happen is I'm going to have more time this coming week to put towards my 2 owl projects, the Trillion Blame Ming Mao and the Snapdragon. Okay, so that's all of this week, and I will see you next week. You know that I wish you a week filled with love and laughter. Thanks for watching.